Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fieldr Academy. My name is Firmender, CEO and co-founder of Fieldr, and we are bringing you episode 5 today for Fieldr Academy, our newest educational segment to Fieldr, where we bring you tips, insights, and reliable information for what's going on in the world, and specifically catered to all business owners, staff, and especially y'all students. Today in this episode, the CARES Act summary featuring Stacey Adams. We will be reviewing the CARES Act in depth in summary with Stacey, a brilliant financial advisor here in Southwest Florida. The act seeks to provide economic support to the business sector, employees, individuals, and families. It also specifically addresses industries that have been impacted the most, including air transportation, healthcare, and education. We're already seeing a lot more progress with it, so today will be more of a review rather than a preview. But now, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our special guest for this episode. Stacey Adams is an award-winning journalist who had a fulfilling 24-year career in the broadcast news industry. Throughout her career, Stacey Adams has been committed to providing information that strengthens the lives of individuals and their families. Prior to joining the financial services industry, she worked as a television news anchor for nearly 25 years. Today, she draws on her unparalleled communication skills, informing clients of their financial well-being and delivering solutions that advance their interests. Stacey has earned Guardian's Client Builder Award, as well as entry into the Guardian Leaders Club, which recognizes the highest standards of advisory performance to the financial services industry. Additionally, Stacey finished in the top 3 and the only woman of finalists for the Christopher Ferreira Memorial New Agent of the Year Award, which recognizes the outstanding accomplishments of the top producing new associates. As her clients might tell you, she makes it clear that your financial future is more than just a do-it-yourself project. So, welcome, Stacey. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on our episode.
Thank you, Connor. I love being here. I'm really excited about this. This is so important for everyone. Right now, we're all in this together, right? Everyone's kind of fearful and stressed, and business owners are wondering when they're going to be able to get back. Employees are wondering when they're going to be able to get back. So we're hoping that today's episode kind of demystifies some of it, kind of helps you through it, maybe calms you down. There's some good news, some bad news. We're going to wrap it all together, and we're going to just help people get through this, right? Because that's what it takes.
And we'll get into all of that. And so first and foremost, we always love to touch base on all of our student listeners, our emerging talent, specifically the age range of 18 to 24. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with a couple friends within that age range who were claimed dependent on their parents' tax returns. So from what I understand, they're not going to be gaining that stimulus check. But is there any other possible way, through this CARES Act that age range, our students, our emerging talent, can take advantage of anything going on?
I got to be honest with you, that was kind of the big caveat in this, that, that age range was really left out. Listen, they couldn't do everything for everyone. I mean, they had to push it out fast. They had to get things accomplished. So unfortunately, the college age student, if he wasn't working, where he could maybe then go for unemployment or, which unemployment now is a much broader situation for people. Unfortunately, that's a tough one right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that money isn't coming to that age range right now. I would say to those people, Connor, as an advisor, get ahead of it. Call your credit card companies, call your car loan companies, be as proactive. If you have rent, talk to your leasing agent or whoever, you pay your rent to. Listen, everyone's in this together. I don't think anyone is not willing to try and do what they can. So I think if you can get ahead of it and you can call those lenders and see what they can do for you, remember, short-term problem, even though it doesn't feel like it. Let's just be proactive. Call them, make the effort, even if you were doing minimum payments. Let's see what we can do. So work with them.
Only a few days ago, maybe 5 days ago at this point, that 2/3, I believe, of Americans were not able to pay their rent for March or for April, I believe it was. And so to your point, be transparent, be upfront to those lenders, to those vendors, and of course to whoever it be you're renting from. So on the point that we're weeks, we're days and weekend, into the release of this CARES Act. So the line has been, it's been already long and it's kind of filled up. So as of April 17th, the SBA disclosed that more than 296 billion of the 350 total billion has already been approved and already on the way out. Do you A, foresee any more funds being added onto that, or just B, what is your strategy for that as a financial advisor?
Okay, so there is some good news, bad news in this one, right? So the PPP, the Payment Protection Plan the program that everyone was waiting for, that was the forgivable part of the loan if you kept everyone employed, a lot of that money is gone. However, there are some other opportunities. So I went looking today because, that's what people need to know. What else is out there? So there's still the economic injury disaster loan from the SBA that allows borrowers to access up to $10,000 as cash advance. Now that usually was within like a day or two. There's a couple of delays in that, so you have to be a little more patient. They are trying to get that out, but now they're saying businesses will be limited to $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. That's from the SBA. They said apply as soon as possible. But again, there's a cap on everything, right? So you definitely want to be proactive. There's also a small business debt relief program. This provides for 6 months of payment relief on existing 7A and 504 loans, again through the SBA. And it includes business owners who've applied before, and also for those new 504s and 7As that are not part of the PPP. I found a really good piece of information, Connor, today that really helped me feel good about this, right? Because everyone just is scared. They're like, where's it for me? So, the really small businesses that use Square, PayPal, Intuit, they actually got approval from the Treasury Department to be part of the PPP loan. So I did go to Square, and it does say, they're not set up just yet, but they have gotten approval as of late last week. So there might be some more opportunities. Check those out as well. I'm not endorsing anything as any one place to go, but if you weren't able to get into your bank, I know Wells Fargo was quite capped on what they could provide. It's another avenue. And I do believe, I really do, and this is just my own personal feeling, the Treasury Secretary is really trying to put another $250 billion into this. Republicans and Democrats, though, not working together just yet. I do think they will ultimately somehow come together because this isn't going away that fast.
You touched on a lot of the resources as well as the loan limits. Is there anything to build on as far as the interest rates or the payback period? I know a lot of these were forgivable. Maybe just build on that.
Sure. Well, the PPP was the forgivable part. That was the portion that you had to prove that went to your employees and maybe paying for rent. What I would suggest on that part, we're telling our clients, if you do get PPP money, put it into a separate account within your bank. Don't mingle it with your regular commercial funds, because you're going to have to prove that money went straight out to pay those expenses. So you just don't want the extra paperwork and the extra hassle and anything. So if you can set up a separate bank account, have that money funneled in there, that's just a great way to do it. As far as the economic injury disaster loans, these were low interest rates. So it was 3.75 for small businesses and 2.75% interest for nonprofits. The repayment can be deferred for 6 months with a maximum term of 30 years, but that's of course determined on a case-by-case basis. But when you consider 3.75, I mean, that's pretty low in the lending world. So if you need it, you got to get it, right?
But I know we wanted to discuss some of the allocation, the breakdown going to different industries. Before we dive into that, I know we mentioned, is there anything that you wanted to build on in the recent news? I know a lot has been going on in the beginning of this call. You said you wanted to review some stuff. You had some notes. I'd love to hear kind of what you've been able to gather.
Okay, so everyone was waiting for their stimulus check, right? And when we first talked a couple of weeks ago, or a week or so ago, the stimulus checks weren't out. They're out. I've met several people who have gotten them. They should have all, oh, you got yours? Awesome. So again, this was people who made less than $99,000 for the prorated, but $75,000 or below for the full $1,200. But there's great news, and I found it yesterday, and I posted it all over LinkedIn and Facebook. If you wanted to check where your check is or sign up for direct deposit, you can now do that. You just go to irs.gov/coronavirus/get-my-payments. And you can actually sign up for the direct deposit so you don't have to wait for snail mail. So that was some good news. I mean, I felt like a lot of people wanted to know, am I getting it? Am I not getting it? So I felt like
I'd seen that the IRS was working on that portal. I wasn't sure they hadn't had a date going up into it. And so I'm glad that they finally released the portal. I mean, I think I had seen those who are going to be receiving physical checks. It could have been about a 20-week wait period. So very, very fortunate for those now able to just get into that portal.
And I just want to say, be careful when you put bank information there. I've double, triple, and quadruple checked that, because I don't like ever giving my bank information. Do it on a secure site, and obviously go straight to, you click all the links that people say are there, but I would go straight to irs.gov, /coronavirus. Don't go to any links, because you just never know.
You don't know what's backlinked and who's just, the world of cybersecurity is.
Right. So I just want people to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
I even put the link on my website, but I tried to write it out and it kept giving me the it makes it into a hyperlink, but like I said, feel free, definitely type it all in.
Well, so now, kind of getting into the allocation then, we're seeing that 153 billion, again, we've discussed that there very well could be more being added onto this pile. And we're releasing this, today's April, what is today? Today's April 16th, only 16th. And so we're going to be releasing this episode. Everyone's going to be hearing this on Monday, the 20th. That would be Monday, the 20th. So by then, there very well could be, there will be new news. That's without a doubt. There will be new news.
Yeah.
But currently 153 billion we see are going to public health. Do you have any general perspective on how this is going to affect the health industry?
Yeah, that's an interesting part, Connor, because that's actually what Republicans, from what I can see, Republicans and Democrats didn't quite agree on. Democrats wanted more of the new stimulus to go to healthcare workers and hospitals and all that. Republicans not so sure. So that's a little bit of a sticking point. But from the first CARES Act, the initial payments, the lion's share did go really to hospitals to keep them afloat. I mean, obviously people with insurance, without insurance, we're just trying to treat people and not worry about that part. So a portion of it also is going towards restocking, that strategic supplies that we talk about, the PPE, the ventilators, the protective gear, the medical supplies, all needed for the pandemic. So we've got to refill the shelves as well as take care of the hospital. So a lot of that just going to that situation as far as healthcare.
A total side note, but I'm not sure if you're a Conor McGregor fan. Do you happen to know Conor McGregor?
No.
Okay, he's a professional Ultimate Fighter, and so I had seen it was some multi-millions of dollars. He had purchased ventilators, those masks, and had, I think, spread them across. It was like 5-6 different hospitals, of course, out in Ireland. But I pinpointed him because he's a huge influencer of mine. But we're seeing a lot of that, a lot of celebrities, a lot of influential people stepping up to the plate and doing their part in donating. So on the topic then of allocation, we're seeing the smallest amount, 43 million, even compared to that 153 billion to the healthcare industry, only 43 million going to the education industry. Unfortunate, of course, given that education is a huge leg to our country, but just, can you explain just how that might help the sector, or maybe why it was only that little, why they received the smallest amount?
Boy, isn't that crazy when you look at everything that's gone on in education? I mean, really, healthcare and education took the biggest whack as far as change that happened so fast, right? People went home from colleges to learning online when they had paid tuition. I've read so much about how unhappy people are. I mean, think about if you paid for something like Harvard. I mean, they're not giving refunds. So big problem there. And all this distance learning, it's really changed the map on things. I don't know if anyone realized how greatly that would be affected. And who knows if there'll be more money, Connor, in the future for that. But really the lion's share of that part is going, 50% of that funding has to go directly to students in the form of emergency financial aid grants for expenses leading to this, right? So things like food, housing, course materials, technology, healthcare. Like I said, they're not giving refunds as far as your courses, but they're trying to help. And there was really a whole formula on which institutions get it. And it was just so convoluted that I didn't want to kind of go into it. That was just too kind of getting into it, but contact your college if that might affect you. The other 50% may be used by the colleges to deal with the crisis, to deal with, changing to distance learning and the cost for that, faculty and staff training to deal with all of that. So a lot of lost revenue. So yeah, it's just a quagmire we're in, right? I mean, how fast could they get the money out and how effective could they be? There's obviously going to just be gaps, and that's the unfortunate part. So we just do the best we can.
And I see you keep referring back to your I'm sure your very well constructed outline of notes. I'd love for you to maybe just share anything that maybe I didn't cover as far as questions go. I want to kind of just open the floor up to you, maybe if you want to bring it home with any other resources, anything that you take a note on.
Yeah, well, so I've talked to so many people, right, just across the board, and everyone's upset and frustrated with getting unemployment benefits. I would say just be patient. Obviously, the systems are overloaded just everywhere we go because there's so many people that are unemployed. Freelancersunion.org is financial assistance of up to $1,000 per freelance household. So that might help. I was talking to somebody early this week. His wife's a freelancer, so I said it's not a lot, but go there. It's freelancersunion.org. and see if you can qualify for $1,000. At this point, $1,000 may help you just pay some bills and pay some groceries. I just did say that if you think you can get unemployment and you're not sure, try, right? At this point, the only thing that can happen is you don't get it. But it really, it encompasses so many more people this go around that normally would not qualify. And I would just say be patient. I mean, being sequestered from people is not fun. Reach out to people. This is also a good time to connect. I don't think people realize connections and kind of networking, if you want to call it at this point, is vital, because we're all in it together, and maybe you can give somebody else a tip that helps them through, or maybe it's a connection that when we come out on the other side can really help you. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. We all have a lot of time on our hands. No one's that busy right now because there's nothing to do.
To that point, that's certainly something I've been thinking. I've been seeing our community. I think has done a great job in staying relevant, staying a huge hub of reliable information. I'm very, very proud of the Southwest Florida community coming together and staying strong. We'd love to actually take advantage of this opportunity, because we'll be releasing this on Monday to all of our listeners, and to even to you, Stacey. You might have seen it. Actually, I think I know you saw it. You might have liked it on Facebook. I'm doing a little birthday fundraiser campaign, turning 23 on April 21st, which, again, this is being released on Monday. So within 24 hours, I'll be turning 23. But I wanted to do something special with the community. And so I've taken that concept of leveraging a birthday to raise funds for a good cause. And of course, what better time than now for the Emergency Relief Fund here in Southwest Florida, the already established fund. And so, again, for the next 24 hours, right up until midnight tomorrow night on April 21st, I will be collecting donations through Venmo, through Cash App. Also can go directly to the Southwest Florida Community Foundation website. We've raised already over $275, and so it's, very exciting time. We've had a lot of support from the community, and so it's a partnership I did with the Southwest Florida Community Foundation and with United Way of Lee and Hendry and Okeechobee. So a lot of fun, very good. And so just, to your point, Southwest Florida community has definitely come together very strongly. And it's nice to see that Emergency Relief Fund has, from what I understand, seen a lot of attention, and a lot of people have done their part in giving back. But to close it out, Stacey, would love for you to maybe just express to all of our listeners where they can find you. Maybe just take advantage of your knowledge, your services.
Okay. Well, first I want to say two things. First of all, I want to say good for you, Connor. Like, yay, you're doing an awesome job. I love you being such a leader in the community and a young leader moving through. I love seeing that. Second, I would say, we're going to get out of this, but I also think our mindsets are going to determine everything. If we live in this fear mode, business won't go back. Okay. I really believe we have to be thoughtful and mindful of things, but not fearful. And I see a lot of people falling into that fearful mode. And I think that will keep us in this kind of sequestered place. I think we have to move forward mentally and realize we determine mentally how this ends, how this goes forward. So if everyone moves forward in a thoughtful, consistent manner, we can get back and better. So that also brings me to I want people to be stronger. So we can talk about we're going to build this together. We're going to build it stronger. That's my hashtag, build it stronger. What this really showed me were people's financial landscapes and their financial plans were so vulnerable. I mean, if none of us can sit home for a month, even businesses can't take 1 month off or 2 months max, what does that say? That's not a judgment. That's we got to do better, because we're going to have hurricanes, we're going to have another disaster, whatever they are in the future. I never want people to feel this fearful again. It's an awful feeling. So I say, you need to work with a professional. Call me up. Let's sit down. I have a team of people, team of experts to really navigate this, making sure you have insurances in place, making sure you have investments, making sure your cash flow is where it needs to be, personally and professionally. So it's not a do-it-yourself plan, right? I mean, none of that is, long-term and short-term. So it pays to have somebody guide you. Like, I don't color my own hair. Have you noticed? I don't drill my own teeth. I see an expert for those things. So my point is, when this is over, or even now, call us up. Let's have a chat. I don't charge for those. So really, you lose nothing, you gain everything, because knowledge is power. You cannot make a good plan without good information, and that's something I'm here for. So you can reach out to me at sadams@afgfl.com, or Stacey Adams on LinkedIn, Stacey Adams on Facebook. Message me any way you can, and I'll get back to you for sure.
Those links to all listeners. I'll make sure I have your website link in there directly to where your bio is on Alliance's page and all of your contact information. Perfect. Well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming back on, Stacey. This was a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure.
Obviously, yeah, as we mentioned in the beginning of this, this was certainly more of a review and kind of just an in-depth summary and looking ahead. We're days into the release of it, and so it's going to be everything's moving and shaking. But again, to your point, remind me, what was the hashtag again? It was build it stronger, or
I'm going to do a hashtag build it stronger.
We'll make sure we hashtag that all in the captions as well then for this episode. I love it. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to episode 5. It was a lot of fun. Our wonderful guest, Stacey Adams, down here in Fort Myers. We'll have all of her contact information in there, her hashtag as well, of course. But otherwise, we hope you continue to stay healthy, stay safe, and we will all see you on the other side. Bye now.